Tonight's show will have a new host, all-star performances, and a showdown between two singing divas. Jeff Benjamin, senior editor at Fuse TV, joins us with a rundown and a few predictions. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's talk about that showdown.
Yeah, I mean, this is whatever, when the nominations came out, you know, obviously a huge day, but everyone was talking about it's Adele versus Beyonce. Two people nominated for very different reasons, and I'm really excited to kind of see how that matchup goes down.
Now, can we predict how that matchup is going to go? I know they're up against each other in several categories.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, they represent two very different things at the moment. You know, Adele, such a huge record, 25, broke all these record sales, you know, the minute it came out. It represents what everyone knows, what everyone loves, you know, such a big blockbuster record. That's what the Grammys honor. Beyonce, on the other hand, was something a little different. It showcased a different side of herself, new genres. You know, she's talking about infidelity in her marriage, you know, being a woman, so many different topics that we haven't seen from Beyonce yet.
All right. It should be interesting.
It will.
All right, let's go down the big categories. The big one, Album of the Year.
Yeah. So like I was just saying, you know, 25 just, you know, sold 3 million plus records in that first week, which is unheard of even when people bought albums, much less, you know, when they, you know, in 2015 when it came out. So this is just, you know, if the Grammys want to honor blockbuster and traditional albums, that's the album that they'll go with. Or on the other hand, they could go with someone like Beyonce, who represents something very different, something, you know, showing diversity, representing a new group of people. And I think it'll be really interesting to see which one they lean towards. And I think it'll say a lot.
All right, let's talk about Record of the Year.
Record of the Year, once again, you know, Adele versus Beyonce is what everyone's saying. It's Hello, which is just that song that reminded us exactly why we love Adele. Those vocals, that chorus that just hits you like right in the heart. And then Beyonce with Formation, just something completely, you know, we hadn't seen from her yet. That it just represented this much more, you know, she's Sasha Fierce, but it was just so much more fierce than we'd ever heard from her in the past. So I think it's got to be between those for sure.
Okay. What do you predict for Song of the Year?
Song of the Year, right, which is more about the songwriters, of course. And, you know, a lot of people, once again, are saying that's an Adele versus Beyonce. You know, both represent something very different. But I think the dark horse here is actually going to be Justin Bieber with Love Yourself. Ed Sheeran's actually, who co-wrote a huge part of that song, is defending his title as songwriter, Song of the Year winner with Thinking Out Loud last year. So if the Grammys, they've proven they like Ed Sheeran so far. So I think, you know, we should watch out for Bieber for sure.
I like Ed Sheeran. All right. Best New Artist.
Yeah, Best New Artist I think is such an exciting category. We have some people we really weren't expecting to see. Chance the Rapper, for example, an artist who has just reached so many people with his music. He's a huge in the hip-hop world, but he hasn't even released his debut album yet, much less signed with a major label. You know, I know Andrea's a big country fan.
She is.
Maren Morris and Kelsey Ballerini in the country world, you know, two people, you know, two women, awesome women who are being represented in a category that doesn't have so much female representation. So.
And I think, aren't Maren and Alicia Keys going to be performing together?
They're going to be performing. How cool is that going to be?
That's going to be great.
So many cool matchups at the performances for sure.
Is there a particular matchup you're looking forward to?
You know, the Grammys are keeping us on our toes this year, in particular, you know, with the Prince and George Michael tributes, two huge icons, and they're not even telling us who's going to be doing the tribute. You know, Adele's a huge George Michael fan. I don't know if people know this, but I'd be really curious if she kind of whips something up.
Wow. All right, music video.
Music video, right. And a lot of people think, you know, when you look at a music video that, you know, that's sort of an irrelevant platform at this, you know, point in age that we're in. But, you know, a music video really needs to say something. And I know I'm sounding like a broken record at this point, but Beyonce's Formation just really brought something special, showcased New Orleans in a completely different light that we had never really seen before, talked about topics like police brutality and, you know, really important race issues and diversity issues. But the Grammys also love OK Go. OK Go won it in the past for their Here It Goes Again. And, you know, they always bring something really exciting, really fun. And, you know, if they want to just honor just something really cool, really visually oriented, I feel like they'll go with that one.
We're talking about exciting and fun. James Corden, the new host after 5 years of the same host.
I'm so excited. Yeah, I mean, you know, he said he's not going to sing, but I think he's got to do some karaoke or something like that, you know.
He definitely does. I mean, he has such a great voice and such a good sense of humor, and he just seems like such a nice person.
He does, and he's an artist type of host. He's there to showcase the artist in a positive light. He wants to show, he's a music fan himself. He's a singer. He's a really good singer if you've ever listened to him. So I'm so excited to see what he brings to the table.
All right. Well, thank you so much for all your
insight.
I appreciate it. It's going to be fun to watch tonight.
It's going to be so fun.
All right. And you can watch the performances and the winners live tonight at 8 p.m. right here on CBS 2, followed by the news at 11. John, over to you.